Hey everybody. So I want to talk about insecurities and in regards to myself, when I did something in my beard. Um, when I before I started smoking weed, I look back on those times and something did change. I mean, I used to be very confident. There was a female that I was extremely I just, I was very persistent, not aggressive, but I just, did my best to charm the situation. I had confidence. That's all I'm trying to say is I was able to do what, you typically see in a lot of movies where dudes, they find somebody they like and they go after them and they make the moves and they end up finally getting the girl. And I was able to do that. And then it was only a couple years after that, if that I started smoking weed again. And just again, that changed my life around. That was a pivotal changing point in my life, not just the marijuana, but just the perception. I started listening to different music. I started having very deep philosophical conversations with friends, started meeting new people, and I started getting into drugs. And then it was only a couple years after smoking weed that I got into opiates, and then those became this new, they filled the void. They filled that hole that I'd always kind of felt after a certain age. Like once high school kind of started and middle school ended, you started to realize what your life, like the options of your life, like it's either you go to college, you do like that type of stuff really started to dawn on me, and I started getting real depressed. And then the opiates, they were there as this paradise, this glory, this feeling that one might get from an adventure or a battle or being in love, and all you gotta do is take a pill. That's the thing with the movies and everything. Initially, I was like, well, maybe I should be an actor because I love movies and I love watching actors, and it's just something I just love to do. And then as I got older, I was like, well, these guys aren't actually doing the stuff that you see on the screen. They're just pretending. And then I was like, well, then I want to do what they're actually pretending to do. And I was like, well, how do you do that? Like, there's no job that tells you how to go and be William Wallace or Sherlock Holmes or any of these other characters that we've seen so many times. But that's what I really wanted to do. It was that or like be a fireman or something like that. But because I was so deep, I was always drawn to something just a little bit more. And so like the fireman thing, it never alert. Now I'm a little different, but the way my back is, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like if I had to carry somebody on my shoulder and shit, I don't know if my back would be very good at that. So otherwise, I would be a fireman, man. That's a very honorable profession, and my hat goes off to them and police officers. You got to do like an hour or a year and a half of probationary work to be a police officer, which is, I don't know if I'm too keen on that, but the job itself is an honorable profession, and my hat goes off to people that put their life on the line to help other people. Thank you for your service. But anyway, I just, so, insecurities, with joy, it's because this didn't happen last year. Like I was able to go in there and deal with all sorts of rejections and name calling and just all sorts of shit. I mean, I had my moments, but I was able to at least engage, and I haven't been able to engage this time around, and so things are a little different. And I mean, it's a year later, so I'm that much older and I guess kind of burned out at the moment. There is studies that show it's good to wait 6 months after one has gotten off of a hardcore addiction before they start getting relationships again. So a part of me was trying to follow that, but that's it's different when I don't know, for me it feels different because it's not like I'm waiting to go out and date after 6 months. It's like I've already met this person and we've already engaged in interactions on the internet. And so that's left an imprint, but I haven't really allowed that imprint to really fully manifest because I've been numbing myself. A large part of my interactions with her were consistent of me, getting fucked up all the time. So I wasn't able to really, connect, even to myself or let alone to her, because I was continuing to put shit inside myself, which was disconnecting me from love, and taking care of myself, and then would be able to take care of somebody else. So, now that I'm away from doing these hard drugs all the time, but my brain developed a dependency of that. So like I became used to getting fucked up. Became used to talking to people and doing things while having all this stimuli in my head. Now that I don't have all this stimuli in my head, yeah, there is a sense of like I don't have the same security, the same comfort, the same feelings of chemical support that my brain was used to having. Now the brain does heal and it is getting better. And I know it'll continue to get better as long as I continue to do better. So that's why I've been hopeful that like, yeah, eventually, like I know myself once I get strong enough, like I'm the type of guy, like once I feel like competent and capable enough to take on a challenge, I'm going to do it. Even if I'm just coming off a deathbed, once I start to be able to move around and move my feet and breathe again, like, okay, let's go for a walk. And then once I go for a walk, I do that, all right, okay, let's go for a run. And I'll take it baby steps, but I like to keep pushing myself. So that's why I've been confident. Like I know eventually I'll be compelled to go and seek her out and, say what's up and all this and that. But there has been an immense amount of pressure to for more movement, for more interaction. So I have not been as receptive to that pressure, as probably I should be, whereas if I were to live in real good harmony with what I'm feeling, then I would have been more responsive to that pressure, because that pressure is telling me something. It's a signal. And, I'm like kind of listening to it, but also like turning my back because I'm afraid, to really fall in love. I mean, there is, a letting go of, you got to open up, so I mean, it's a tender thing. It's opening up the most tender part of your body to another human being, or your heart, your emotions, your soul. And, when you do that, I think part of doing that is in like trusting, like, all right, here it is, here I am, and when we do these things, we do them out of a very beautiful and benign place. And I think inherently, sometimes we can expect that we'll receive that beautiful, benign energy back. And sometimes we don't. And sometimes when we don't get that back, it can be extremely painful, and it can scar us and cripple us. And then we develop dams and barriers and blockades to keep ourselves from feeling that again, because it's like, well, why should I open myself up again? I just did, and I got myself fucking crushed, so that didn't do any good, so why do that again? But there again is the problem, is you were expecting, some type of return instead of just opening up. And if the person feels like receiving your love, then they can receive their love. And if they don't want to, that's fine. That's their choice too. And there's plenty of other people that you can share your love with. And that's a problem I've had also. It's like I've had a real hard time in my mind, in my soul, finding somebody else whom I even can like feel is close to the level of connectivity that I felt with Joy. So like I feel like there's nobody else for me but Joy. So like if things don't work out with her, if she's with somebody else, she's not even around anymore, I lose. I mean, she's what keep a lot of my hope alive. If she, I just, when you're getting off of stuff and you don't have much hope in your life, you can cling, anything that does bring you hope. I try to cling to it as much as I can because I don't have much. So whatever I do have, I'm going to try to cherish it as much as I have. So she's one of the few things giving me hope. I don't want to jeopardize that by seeing if that hope is futile. Why not hold on to that hope, even if it is a fantasy, even if I don't know if it's real, it could be, until I get to a stronger place, and then I can maybe see if it's real. And then at that moment, at least I'll be strong enough to deal with it if in fact, she wants nothing to do with me and stuff. And then from there, I'll find somebody else, but that's also part of getting stronger, is knowing that if it doesn't work out with Joy, that there are other females out there that I can fall in love with. And that's okay too. Just like there's other men for her to be with, if that's the way it turns out to be, and that's okay too. And if we get together, that's okay too. But yeah, there are some insecurities that I have. There definitely are. And I also don't have, like, I received a text from a friend, or from somebody from Arizona yesterday, and like I still don't even feel really able to talk to him, because again, like this trust thing, like the heart, it's exactly what I just said. Like I've shared my heart with everybody and everything on the internet, with all of these people. And I do feel like I've got some scars that I'm working on. I got some walls that need to be brought down, and they're they're not all the way down yet, and they're holding a lot in there, and a lot of that in that I'm holding isn't good. So it does have a toxicity inside of myself, and it does create a very angry person at times, which can bring on demonic energy. So it's something to be very careful of. And a warning to anybody else: repression is not good. It really is not good, in my experience. So let it out, whatever it may be. It's better to let these things out than let them fester. Because when you let these things fester, they rot, they get worse most of the time. I mean, the festering, it's got to go somewhere. If it dissipates, that negative energy is still going to dissipate into whatever else you are. So if you are able to express that negativity or whatever it may be inside of you, that emotional feeling, desire, in the moment, you're able to then spread it out so that it's outside of you. It's more so than it was inside of you when you didn't express it. So anyway, I'm rambling a little bit here, but essentially the root cause of my situation right now is that I haven't gotten over is the situation that I have with Joy, and getting over my insecurities, and also not waiting on my time. Like that whole 6-month thing, that's something that man came up with. That wasn't God's. There's nothing in the Bible that says you got to wait 6 months. You know, that's something that man created, and I'm been using that as like a template to give myself an amount of space so that I can feel ready or not. But that may not be what God wants. That may not be what's best for everybody. You know, there's a reason why I'm feeling pressure. So I'm going to work on listening to that pressure more and not turn away from love and just interaction, you know, like getting, you know, responding to comments, checking my comments, like that's another thing that I need to start doing. Like that's more me perpetuating fear. The more I don't want to look at my comments, the more I'm saying I don't want to interact with people. I don't want to hear what they have to say. I don't want to deal with that. Like, so that's also something I need to change, is I need to start interacting with my comments again, and stop being so afraid of what people have to say about me. Or not, it's not even a fear. Sometimes it's just not even wanting to deal with it. Like it's not all insecurity. I just want to make that clear. Like there is some apprehension, there is some cowardice or whatever you want to call it, but a lot of it also has to do with just like kind of being burned out and a lack of, in some sense, it's a lack of interest. Like part of me doesn't want to debate with people when I know I've spent hours and hours researching information that I know is right in my mind. Like I don't have a desire to debate people unless I've seen them do their own work. That's the people I'm interested in debating with, is other people that have actually shown and done work on their own behalf, not just people that want to talk just to talk. So, but anyway, I think I'm going to just go ahead and drop this video, and we'll just see what happens next. All right, love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.